So next up, we are joined by Neil Inwood, the Executive Director of Apollo Minerals with the ticker code AON. To tell us more about their zinc-lead project in Gabon, I will hand you over to Neil. Good afternoon, Neil.
Good afternoon, Jane, and thank you for having me.
No worries. Let me bring up your presentation.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, today I'd like to talk about Apollo's province-scale Crusoe zinc-lead project, which is in Gabon. This is a photograph of the access to our project, and we're very excited about the project and the future. Just a disclaimer, and please read at your leisure. This is also on our website. And our vision is to realise Crusoe's province-scale potential, and also to create value as a low-carbon, responsible base metal producer. And we think that the Crusoe Project and Gabon as a country are two of the vital elements for this, and I'll explain that in more detail. So as an investor, why Apollo Minerals? First of all, we control 100%, or we'll own 100% of the Crusoe zinc-lead project. We just announced 2 weeks ago the deal to acquire 100% ownership. We are looking at a province-scale deposit, large scale. So we're seeing shallow sulfide mineralisation from surface. And for zinc and lead, this is a bit unique worldwide. We are struggling to find other examples where we're seeing sulfide mineralisation from surface and shallow. Our average depth of mineralisation is about 15 metres. We've got highly positive early stage metallurgical test results. So that indicates we've got very good flotation results. We're doing more test work this year, but the initial test work is very promising. And we've also got very strong exploration results to date. In fact, just last week, we published the strongest ever mineralisation ever seen on the project, and that was from regional step-out drilling. And we're aiming to have one of the lowest carbon footprints in the market segment. The reasons for that is there's abundant hydropower in Gabon. We've got nearby rail infrastructure, and we have got low strip potential. So these three key elements indicate a strong potential for low carbon production. And we see zinc as vital to the low carbon energy future. And there's several reasons for that we'll go through in the presentation, but we're seeing zinc as a vital metal for your solar, your wind, electric vehicles, and also emerging battery technology. And additionally, there's an impending supply deficit for zinc, even on traditional applications, which is mainly for galvanisation on steel. And we see ourselves as being significantly undervalued compared to our peers. So there's other zinc explorers, for example, Rumble Resources, great project, and we see ourselves as being significantly undervalued compared to them. And also for ourselves, which is very exciting, we've got an identified value pathway. We're in the exploration stage, which is the most fun stage. We're going into targeting, metallurgical test results, resources, and feasibility. So this pathway is the best, traditionally the best value uplift for investors. And a bit about Gabon. So Gabon, not a lot of people know where it is immediately, but Gabon's in central West Africa. It's a Francophone country. It's got unique existing infrastructure. It's got one of the largest mineral ports in Africa. In fact, myself and Mr. John Wellborn were just there last week. There's an extensive rail network which feeds into the mining district around Franceville. So this is a high quality rail network which is well managed, and there's abundant hydropower, so green electricity, existing 200 megawatts with another 80 megawatts planned. And there's very good access to our project. We've got sealed roads to within about 30 kilometres and very good quality of provincial roads. So you're looking at a really great package to explore and also to develop a project in. Gabon itself has a proven oil and gas sector. And mining. It's number two. Sorry, excuse me, my bad. It's the number two producer for high-grade manganese in the world. So that's Comilog, and they use that rail network to export approximately 4 to 6 million tonnes per annum to the minerals port. Oil revenues approximately 30% of GDP, and producing 200,000 barrels. There's a growing presence of Australian companies coming into the country as well. So we're looking at FMG, Armada, Genmin. It's a great country to be exploring in. It's very safe. There's good infrastructure and there's good in-country support. And importantly for us as a junior explorer, it's got a very good operating environment. There's a modern mining act. There's been a new Minister for Mines recently appointed. And for us, we have a mining convention where we have a tax exemption for VAT, which means we do not have to pay the VAT tax on our exploration expenditure. And importantly, this is signed off before you pay the tax. So you don't have to pay that tax, unlike other jurisdictions. So great place to be operating in. And I'm just going to touch on the zinc market. So there's a supply deficit impending. Indications are that 4 of the 10 major producers have less than 10 years of mine life, and the zinc producers are now looking for large-scale zinc supplies. And zinc itself, it's a critical metal. New mines are essential to meet this demand. And as I mentioned before, there's a supply deficit mounting. Current demand is driven mainly by galvanisation for steel. Future demand will be by traditional applications and also as part of the essential ingredient in the decarbonising world. So when I say that zinc's going to be used for renewable energy in batteries, existing batteries and new battery technologies, renewable energy for solar and wind, I'll touch on that in a second, and also for mobility vehicles. Zinc is used as a galvanisation to stop rusting and corrosion and all these applications. And with an increase in solar energy transition, there'll also be an increase in zinc demand. So just touching on that, so the power storage market alone is expected to be 34% growth in zinc demand in that market from 21 to 2030. And zinc batteries, there's new research coming out that indicates zinc batteries have the potential to capture much of this stationary storage market. So we're looking at households, we're looking at industrial, we're looking at power generation. So, and it's in a way that perhaps lithium-ion batteries can't, in that the zinc battery technology is safe and because it's based around water technology as well, won't catch on fire. And so zinc is being, additionally, zinc is being used in this galvanization for steel for wind turbines, for solar panels. Zinc's recyclable, used in traditional vehicles, electric vehicles. And just this slide just shows some of the zinc manufacturers. I'll give a shout out to Redflow. They're an Australian company based in Adelaide. No connection, but I think there's some great emerging technology as well. So now on the Crusoe project. So we're talking about a province scale zinc-lead project, and we've barely scratched the surface. The mineralisation is hosted in shallow sediments. Our average depth to mineralisation currently is about 15 metres, and we're seeing across this 80-kilometre trend, which we control completely, multiple indications of mineralisation from outcrops, from historical drilling, from soils. We're lucky that we've inherited a large database from the French BRGM from the 1960s and 1980s. They were mainly focused on lead. What we've found out in the last few years is this is a zinc-rich deposit, and that zinc mineralisation has been largely missed by previous workers. We've got 18 defined prospects, 18 areas where we know there's mineralisation or very strong potential. We've only touched on 3 of them, and we've been getting very good results to date. So we think there's province scale potential, and mineralisation is shallow. Because of the nature of the mineralisation, we think any potential mining operations will have a very low strip ratio. And I've mentioned before, significant success in recent drilling, and we've got 2 diamond rigs underway. And just an indication of the mineralisation, we're seeing sulphide mineralisation from surface, which is very, very unusual for base metal projects. We're seeing lots of galena, which is the silvery metal we see on the left-hand side. That was the focus by previous workers. But the heart of the mineralisation here is actually the zinc mineralisation, which is sphalerite, which is that image you see in the top centre of the slide. That wasn't easily visually identified, and we are seeing in the recent drill results, in fact, 90% of our mineralisation is coming from zinc, not lead. So I'm going to touch on very briefly on Dukaki, one of the 18 prospects. We've got 2 diamond rigs here at the moment. And just recently, we announced some very exciting, very strong results, 60 metres of mineralisation at 2.4% zinc plus lead from 2 metres at surface. Including in that, there was a higher grade core of approximately 30 metres at 3.6%. And this is from drilling 200 and 400 metre step out drilling from the previous workers. And this diagram here shows that area. So that's those holes 94 and 96. Strongest ever mineralisation seen on the project. And this is from our step out drilling. So we think there's strong potential for this mineralisation to continue to the east, to the right, and also to the west. At Dukaki, this system, there's 8 kilometres of trend. We've only drilled 1.5 kilometres of it ourselves. And that's this diagram you see here. You'll see our near Bimbu Prospect. So this is a new discovery made by the company last year. And we announced just recently 5 metres at 10% zinc plus lead on the eastern portion of the near Bimbu. What this shows, the high-grade mineralisation we're seeing here, the high-grade mineralisation we're seeing at Dukaki, just shows that the more drilling we do on the project, the more mineralisation we find. And for the investor, what's going to happen going forward? So on this slide, we're seeing the growth in work and the pathway going forward in 2022. We've got airborne EM surveys planned which for June, and we've got additional strong drilling on our brownfields projects and our greenfields projects into Q3, Q4 2022, with an aim for next year for resource definition, further exploration and further studies. So a very exciting time for the company. Just a summary on our ESG highlights, which we take very seriously. And for a company like ourselves, we're very proud to employ over 85% local workers on the project and very good local, regional and government relationships. And just to touch on the management of the company, there's myself as Executive Director, ably supported by Mr. Rob Hetz, Mr. John Wellborn, Ian Middlemas, our Chairman, and our other directors, Hugo Sherman and AJ Carragel. And just a corporate snapshot. That's the presentation for today. Just a quick 10-minute overview. Back to you. Thank you, Jane.
That was a great presentation, actually. Thanks so much for that. We've had a couple of questions come through from a Twitter attendee. So you've got the two drill rigs running. So when are the Crusoe results due, and what is the campaign that you're running out there?
Absolutely. So we announced some results last week, and that was the high grade step out drilling, 200 metre. There's more results coming through the lab now, and with the lab, unfortunately, lab delays in Perth, you're looking at say 4 to 8 weeks. So we're trying to push those as strong as possible. But ideally, we'd like to get a tempo of monthly results coming out. Obviously, that depends on transport logistics. Not so bad. It's more the labs around the world at the moment are quite busy.
And then just finally, so which of the 3 projects excites you most?
You know what, Dukaki, where we're getting the great results, that's actually one of the easiest projects for us to access. Near Bimbu was a new discovery last year, and we've only started scratching that surface, and there's another 16. So look, I think Dukaki is an easy win. I am really looking forward to get some more drilling or get some first drilling at Afubu, which is the project to the south we hope to hit in Q3 this year.
Wonderful. With a market cap like that, it's definitely a buy in my book. So thank you so much for joining us.
Great. Thanks, Jane. Thank you, everybody.